For sure, we can make it if we try. Oh man, these are different times we're living in the world, in the Caribbean. I think we have online Wendy Bynoe, president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union. I hope I got it right. Second vice president of the Caribbean Union of Teachers. PhD candidate. Yes, she's writing. She should be defending her thesis very shortly, and a PhD in education. A mother of a son, proud mother, from the beautiful, beautiful island of Canawan in the southern Grenadines on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. An educator for over, well, just about 27 years. Wendy, good evening, good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon, Vin. How are you doing?
Oh, hey, to be honest, as I am always, I'm pretty tired. But you know what? Mind over matter. I'm so happy to have you on air as a follow-up to our conversation that we had on the 21st of March on Healthy Vibes, on Nice Radio. Yes, on that Healthy Vibes program. How are you doing?
I am doing fine. Just relaxing at the moment.
Okay. I know you're very busy. We have had some conversations before, and now I know that you're in demand, not only on St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but you're also on standby for a session regionally. So I won't waste any more time with you. I know you're very limited. So Wendy, especially for our listeners who are listening to the very, very first time, I know that you are the president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union. I don't know when your term comes to an end. You can fill us in. You're also the second vice president of the Caribbean Union of Teachers, if I got that right as well. I also know that you've been an educator for about 27 years. And in addition to that, and I'm so proud of you, you are writing for your PhD in education. You should be defending your thesis shortly, from what I understand. You're a proud mother of a son. Can I add anything to that?
Oh, I also have a daughter, and I am due to leave office soon as president of the Teachers Union. In fact, that should have happened on the 2nd of April, but COVID-19 happened. So we're making plans to have the convention virtually.
There you go. And for me, Vin Abbott, you hail from the southern Caribbean, right? The southern Grenadines on St. Vincent and the Grenadines, from Canawan, Myro, Union Island. And, we go back years. I've been involved.
Certainly.
Yes. When you were still beautiful, but when you were involved in show, Queen of the Islands down there, and other things. And Canawan, Union Island, Myro, folks down there like the MP, Terence Oliver, his twin brother, Terry Oliver, principal of the secondary school on Canawan, on Union Island, Lambie there on Union Island, the Sandys and the Comptons and the Dorishays on Canawan, Uncle Mac, my good buddy who organized regatta, Easter regatta around this time. Canawan
It used to be August.
Used to be young. So this place holds a special place in my heart. So I really want to use this forum, this platform to say hello to all the friends in the southern Grenadines. How are your folks doing? Chenny and all these guys.
I'm very good. Everybody's fine. I suppose everybody's trying to stay alive from COVID. And what I'm guessing as well, the water situation, is a problem at this time. It's, the people of the Grenadines, not just the southern Grenadines, engage in water harvesting, which means they may depend on water from cotton tanks when it rains and, it's a dry season. So water is an issue. And that we need water, especially during this time.
Hey, my heart goes out. My heart goes out. Wendy, when we spoke on the 21st,
Mm-hmm.
we began the conversation, the chit chat about the attitudes. Well, the all of that, the attitudes of Vincentians re COVID-19. Since then, the 21st, what has been your observation since then?
What's the question? I didn't hear that
I'm
clearly.
asking, what have things changed since the 21st? Are people responding differently to the COVID-19 pandemic on St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Well, I think we still need to have a more cohesive approach
Mm-hmm.
to dealing with COVID-19
Mm-hmm.
on the national level.
Okay.
I think there still appears to be schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm.
Their messages appear ad hoc, you know. So I
Mm-hmm.
think there's still work
Mm-hmm.
for us to do.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that we need to educate the populace about the disease,
Mm-hmm.
whether whistle stops. I know Canawan had a whistle stop a few days ago. The doctor was on a vehicle
Okay.
going around the island,
Okay.
educating them about the disease. That is commendable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that talk show hosts on daytime and nighttime radio can do a lot more in, educating the nation about this disease. So
Uh,
yeah.
Wendy, thanks for raising that because I think I saw your post encouraging talk show hosts to pay more attention to COVID-19. I think you also you said to them that folks would listen to them. I agree with you. This is a time when we're in this together. We are one
Mhm.
together. And I think it's important for us to really use whatever platform we have to get that message across, regardless of political color, ideology, whatsoever.
Definitely. And I think they don't necessarily have to do it themselves, but they can invite one of the health professionals to sit on the program or call in, to give
Mm-hmm.
people some information about the disease and how to protect themselves.
Mm-hmm. 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 I agree to you so much because this is bigger than all of us. Because COVID-19 does not know color, does not know social status, does not know economic status, does not know political, affiliation. It's about all.
Mm-hmm.
It's about all of us. And like I said
Definitely.
earlier in my program today on Nice Radio, we require leadership at all levels, from the top,
Certainly.
bottom.
To butter. Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. How do things look in the education system, though? I know that you're out of school. I remember the last time we spoke, uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, there was a sort of a struggle about whether teachers should be coming in to do work, something like that. Where are we with all of that?
Well, that was sorted because you will realize that this is a period of uncertainty for everyone because of the fluidity of the pandemic.
Yes.
There is no way we could have predicted the coming of such a global pandemic. Just yesterday, I think
Mm-hmm.
2,000 people died in the States
Mm-hmm.
from this disease.
Mm-hmm.
And so we couldn't predict this, and it has impacted on all our lives. It's not business as usual
Mm-hmm.
because this has caused a huge disruption in our country worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
and the education system is no exception.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone has to make the requisite adjustments
Mm-hmm.
because obviously these are not ordinary times. It is unprecedented,
Yes.
and we can't speak with certainty about how soon this situation will be resolved.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've observed and what I've been told is
Mm-hmm.
that some of our teachers are engaged in online instruction
Okay.
for students.
Okay.
And I want to applaud our teachers for doing that, for the professionalism and the way that they're responding
Mm-hmm.
during this crisis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've seen them trying to build resilient strategies to
Mm-hmm.
minimize disruption as much as possible in the teaching and learning process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have been sharing experiences, sharing resources, trying to develop new skills
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that students experience a normal situation as much as possible.
Now, when they in Canada, students have access to learning opportunities online. Those students, those families who don't have, say, for example, computers, whether laptop or whatever, will be fixed with, the hardware. What is the situation on Homeland?
Well, I'm assuming that it will be the same. There will be children without electricity. There'll be children without the hardware, the tablet, the laptop, the phones. Um, there'll be teachers going online for classes, but there might be a low turnout, low rate of participation among students. There might be lack of internet access for some students as well. And this can impact on the quality of preparation, especially for exams.
Okay, and exams, when you talk about exams, what are you talking about? You're talking about CXC?
Well, I'm speaking about those in school, those, internal and external examination, because you'll appreciate the fact that we're into the second term. We were supposed to be on vacation right now, and we were supposed to return to school next Tuesday. But we are home for an additional 2 weeks, and then the situation will be reviewed and a decision made. So you know that we would have been going into the third term. It's promotion term. Children move from one grade, one class to the next, or from primary to secondary, so the transition, or from secondary to tertiary. So it's what we call the exam term. The third term is what we would have been going into, and now with so much uncertainty, we're not even sure what's happening with that. So for like those students who already signed up for CSEC, signed up for CAPE, even for CPA, the children who depend on CPA to move on to secondary school, that is still an issue.
Wendy, what is it in all of this? And I please help me here. What is the deepest down in the gut in your belly? What is your deepest concern with the COVID-19 for students? You as an educator, teachers, and like you, many others care about the students and parents care. Talk to us. What is your deepest heartfelt concern in all of this?
Well, one of my concern, apart from the impact it's having on the children's education, is the psychological impact.
Okay, talk to us,
please. Children anxious, parents anxious, everybody wondering what's happening, the stress. I think that's a major issue. That's a major concern. I think for teachers across the region, just this week, I think on the 8th of April, we had a meeting of the Caribbean Union of Teachers Officers and one representative from member units across the region. And this is something that is worrying as well. How children coping with the stress, with not knowing when is their exam date. Because as I said, this thing is fluid. It can go on. We haven't yet peaked in the Caribbean. So we spoke with CXC, and they explained what they want to do with regards to the exam for CSEC and for which is the Caribbean Secondary Examination, and for Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, which is referred to as CAPE. So several issues were raised, including the date of the exams and the structure. So what CXC plans to do is utilize a modified approach to the 2020, what we knew as May-June exams. They have said that they may have it in July. It can change to August or September. So the whole uncertainty of everything, and the final grade, they said, will come from a multiple choice paper, the SBAs, which will be moderated, and teachers' predicted grade. So it just depends, because no one can speak definitively about when this pandemic will end. So ultimately, the final dates of the exams will be influenced by the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And with regards to the Caribbean primary exit examination, CPA, CXC is taking a one-on-one approach to see how best the exam can be facilitated. They probably were thinking of e-testing for CSEC,
Mm-hmm.
as well as paper tests for those who are not, who don't have access
Mm.
to online.
Wendy, I know in the
Uh-huh.
Caribbean we take examination certification seriously. And I would imagine, I know there are many parents listening to you this afternoon. And this interview, this chit chat will be repeated on Kincardie
Uh-huh.
and on Nice Radio. So I have a couple more questions for you, but I would really like you to speak directly to our parents to assure them that the education system, locally, regionally, would do the very best to help our students moving forward. Please.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I can't tell them to relax,
Sure.
but I think, you know, they just have to remind the children that whatever they've learned so far,
Mm-hmm.
they can review it,
Mm-hmm.
even without the online instruction, because I'm sure everyone is not exposed to that as yet.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Ministry of Education, it has been making plans to have a meeting to discuss the way forward in terms of what is going to happen
Mm-hmm.
with our children, with our students.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Finally, I'd like to say, stick to the facts as communicated by the public health agencies, Ministry of Health, whoever, or the medical professionals, instead of reading every article, because, sometimes you Google everything and you could get anxious
I
to
know.
think that you have everything that Google say you have all the symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So avoid going to every website, staying offline little bits for a period of time. Those that can be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Try and keep it in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Social media and news outlets can amplify misinformation. We see that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So keep in mind that there's a concerted global effort to try and contain the virus, and we have to do our part. Avoid going to places that we don't need to go. Avoid leaving home if we don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Follow prevention tips to stay healthy, wash hands often and properly. They say is the most effective way to stop the spread of the disease. Practice stress and anxiety management. I think we need that. I think I need that too. You know,
Wendy, I'm happy
My-
I'm happy you raised that, because my next question to you, we have like 20 something secondary schools on St. Vincent, students preparing for CSEC. Parents want the best for students, folks preparing
of
to go
course.
into medicine and different, different areas of, career areas and things like that. And this is a serious
Mm,
issue, and this is something um, uh, in which I have serious concerns, And
mhm.
last time we spoke, well, on the 21st, we talked a little bit about the role of guidance counselors in our schools.
Mm.
Has anything changed since then? Are the counselors involved in any way to help our
I
students and
haven't
parents?
I haven't heard anything. I'm not sure if they're also doing that online,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't really speak to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to encourage us to reduce stress and anxiety as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Get enough sleep,
Mm-hmm.
balanced diet, hydration,
Mm-hmm.
exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel to, you can speak about your affairs with a trusted friend or,
Yes.
someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Practical stuff.
And maintain a positive attitude
Mm-hmm.
as much as you can.
Wendy, I know you're very busy. You're in demand. It's 5:45 here in Toronto. I know you have to go because you have another engagement regionally.
Yeah.
What is your final message to our folks on this second session here on Concord Radio on the Vin Abbott Show? What is your message to our folks listening to you?
My
You you
final
you have you
message.
have you have a platform. People are listening to you. I know. The reviews have been great. Speak to our people, please.
Okay. Well, I just like to say, build resiliency in times of uncertainty. That's important. Maintain a positive attitude and try your best to prevent getting and spreading COVID-19.
Physical distancing.
Yeah, certainly.
Wendy.
And if you're going out, of course, use your mask.
There you go. Well, Wendy, let me thank you very much for sharing your time. Again, I know it's very limited because you're in demand. I wish you and your loved ones, all the folks in the Southern Grenadines, your colleagues in teaching, not only on homeland, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but across the region. I wish you and your family all the very best. Thank you very much. And
thank you, Vin, and same to you.
Thank you so
Keep
much.
Safe.
Certainly will. And we hope we'll be able to connect with you for another session, a third session with Wendy Bynoe. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Anytime.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now. Well, friends, there you had it. A chit-chat conversation with Wendy Bynoe, president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Union of Teachers on St. Vincent and the Grenadines, second vice president, that is, of the Caribbean Teachers of Union of Teachers. Oh boy, I'm so tired. Thank you very much. And you're listening to the Vin Abbott Show for Saturday, April 11th, 2020. When we come back, we'll be having a chat with a person, like a man like no other. Stay with us here on Kankadi Radio. We are with you programming for Saturday, April 11th, 2020, all part of Easter weekend 20.
This is the Vin Abbott Show. This is the Vin Abbott Show. This is the Vin Abbott Show.
Hi friends, what's happening in your corner? Be it a group meeting, a sporting activity, a community activity,